Hello everybody! By the end of this video, you will understand what is Scrum and the Scrum Framework. Scrum is one of the development methodologies which provide a framework for agile mode of development. Scrum defines the roles, responsibilities and the process to follow. In Scrum, there are just three roles: the product owner, the Scrum Master and the team. The product owner's responsibility is to identify requirements, prioritize them such that the highest priority ones are at the top of the list and the least priority ones are at the bottom of the list. PO is the sole person responsible for the ROI. The team's responsibility is to develop the features that they committed to and meet the quality requirements. Teams are usually 5 to 9 members and they are cross-functional. That is, the team comprises of programmer, validator, UI expert or whoever is necessary for successful completion of the sprints. The team is also self-organizing with a high degree of autonomy. The Scrum Master's responsibility is to ensure the process of Scrum is followed religiously. He or she protects the team from outside interference, helps removing impediments, and guides the team and the PO on the Scrum process. Now that we understand the roles, let us look at the Scrum Framework. To start with, the product owner starts creating the product backlog. Product backlog is an ordered list of items that needs to be developed to complete the product. These could be product features or technical requirements. The product backlog items at the top of the list are more granular, while the bottom ones would be coarser. The coarser ones will be eventually made granular when the team finishes off with the higher priority ones. The PO is the owner for the product backlog items. The sprint, which is time-boxed iteration, starts with the sprint planning meeting of 2 to 4 hours. This is where the PO and the team comes to an agreement on what they develop in the sprint. The meeting is split into 2 parts. In part 1, the PO explains the requirements that he would like the team to work on and also answer the team's queries. In part 2, the team does a bottom-up estimation and decides how many of the PBIs they think can be implemented. At the end of the sprint planning meeting, the team is ready with their sprint backlog, which is the set of activities to develop and validate the selected PBIs. The sprints are usually 2 to 4 weeks and ends on the specified duration. No matter how many PBIs are pending implementation, the idea is to ensure a potentially shippable product is released frequently. During the sprint, the team does a daily Scrum meeting where everyone in the team meets every day at the same location at the same time. In this meeting, each of the team members appraise the rest of them on what they did yesterday, what they are planning to do today, and whether they are facing any issues. The intention is to appraise everyone on what's happening and bring in accountability. Typically, the stand-up meeting should not exceed 15 minutes. At the end of each day, the team enters the remaining hours required for them to complete their remaining tasks. This is plotted along the timeline, and this chart is called the sprint burndown chart. It provides a visual view on how much work is pending and is useful for the team as well as the external stakeholders in assessing the risk. During the sprint, the team members also spend around 5 to 10% of their current sprint time in refining the PBIs for the upcoming sprints. This helps the team in familiarizing with the next set of requirements as well as giving inputs to the PO. Towards the end of the sprint, the team does a sprint review where they demonstrate the developed features to the PO and stakeholders. This helps the PO and the stakeholders to see the working product and give feedback. Basically, this is the inspect and adapt of the product. The feedback is added as items in the product backlog items later on and prioritized. Further to the sprint review, the team does a sprint retrospective among the team members. In the sprint retrospective, the team looks back at the process and asks themselves on what practices need to be continued, started, or stopped. This is the inspect and adapt time for the process. The actions from this meeting is incorporated in their next sprint.